Rotoscoping is a form of animation where you take a series of still frames from a video and you animate them. In this case, I took two videos. I took a video of my cat Bear, and I also rotoscoped a video of somebody fencing, and I'm putting them together to create this story. The advantage of rotoscoping is you can get much more realistic, smooth image sequences because you are using a real movement sequence as the basis for your animation. I'm going to pull a movie of some fencing from the Olympics onto my desktop, and I'm going to open up Final Cut Pro. I'm going to do File, Import Media, and I'm going to find the video footage on the desktop. I'm going to click on it and hit Import, selected, and I'm going to then pull the video clip from my library down onto my timeline. You may have to create a new project first in order to pull it down into the timeline, and then I'm going to just run my selection tool along the timeline until I find the exact image sequence that I want. In order to select the image sequence, I hit I for in and O for out. You can do that up in the library and just pull that selected clip down onto your timeline, or you can pull the entire clip onto the timeline and then just delete the sections you don't want. If you use the blade tool, you can cut the beginning and end where you want the sequence to begin and end, and then you can just select the clips you don't want and hit the delete key on the keyboard, and that will delete them. What I'm doing now is I'm using the transform feature. It's just a little drop-down menu underneath the little screen where you see the image action going. But I hit transform, and I'm just actually enlarging a section of the fight sequence so I can get the images as big as possible. I don't really care if they're grainy because I'm going to be turning them into drawings anyway. So I'm just enlarging it, transforming it, and getting it exactly the way I want because I just need a few seconds of the fencing sequence in order to complete my story of the cat versus the fencer. So once I have that, I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to enlarge it onto the full screen to see exactly what it looks like. And when I'm satisfied that I have what I want, I'm going to hit File, Share. And what you want is export as image sequence, but you'll probably have to click Add Destination and then drag over Export as image sequence as one of your possible destinations, because not a lot of people use that in Final Cut Pro. But in any case, you're going to export the image sequence. Make sure that you export it as PNG images, not as TIFF images, and hit share, and you will find the folder on your desktop with the image sequence in it. I edited in a short clip from an old video of mine just to review with you exactly how to create an image stack in Photoshop and how to use the timeline so you can begin animating. So here we go. So I'm going to now open up Photoshop, and I'm going to do File, Scripts, Import Image Stack, or Stack Images. And I'm going to have to hit Browse so I can find the folder. And I find it, and I click on it, and I'm going to select all the images from beginning to end. And once I have imported them, they're not imported yet. You have to click on the top image, hit Shift, click on the bottom image, and that'll select all of them. And then you're going to import them, and they will be imported into a perfectly lined up stack in Photoshop. Next, you're going to click Window. You're going to click Timeline. You're going to click Create Frame Animation, and then you're going to hit Create Frames from Layers, and that will give you your timeline with the image sequence in it. Now I'm going to show you, once you're in Photoshop, what to do with the image. I'm hitting Select Subject, and then I'm hitting Select Inverse and Edit Cut to get rid of the background. I'm then hitting image and adjustments, and I'm making upping the contrast and making the image lighter. Image adjustments, curves is another good one. And then what I'm going to do once I've adjusted the file the way I want is I'm going to take the Wacom tablet and the stylus, and I'm going to do a little bit of outlining. Any place where it's light or very white, I'm going to outline around the image. And I'm also going to add in any detail that is getting lost. That's the other reason to lighten the image, but I'm actually going to use black and white to enhance the image before I do an image trace. Tracing over the back of the cat, I'm going to use a white brush to outline the ear. I'm going to go around the cat's chin. Any place where I need to add in detail, I can add in a little bit of texture of fur. I can add in whiskers. Anything to give it a little bit of character, but especially outlining it where it's white is very important. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. I skipped ahead a little bit. So here it is, almost outlined. I'm going to use a little bit of white to outline the whiskers. And then I'm going to use the rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to select the entire cat and hit edit, copy. And then I'm going to open up Adobe Illustrator. If you don't already have a document open, you're going to do File, New, and you're going to click for Print, which will give you the highest resolution. So I'm going to copy it out of Photoshop, and I'm going to paste it into a file in Adobe Illustrator. And then I'm going to go Object, Image Trace, Make. And because I outlined it, I'm getting a very good clear image, which I'm going to then copy and paste right back into Photoshop. Then I'm going to take the Magic Wand selection tool, and I'm going to just Magic Wand out the white background. So I have this very simple, nice graphic drawing of a cat. Which I'm going to use the Move tool to put into place. And then I'm going to delete the actual original file underneath of the cat. So it's just the drawing of a cat now. Now, in order to show you why I needed to outline it, I'm going to repeat the process without outlining the cat to show you what it would look like. Copying the cat, and I'm pasting it, and you're going to see, if I hadn't outlined it, what it's going to look like. You see how I'm losing all that detail? So then when I put it back into Photoshop, if I Magic Wanded out the background, I would lose a lot of the cat's outline as well. So that's why I had to outline it with using my Wacom stylus. So at this point, I've deleted the underlying layer of the original cat, and I just have the drawing. And now the only thing I need is my little fencer. So I'm going to go over to my other file where I have already changed my fencers into drawings. And I'm going to find the correct frame in the sequence of this epic cat versus fencer battle. And I'm going to, let's see, let me make sure it's the correct. And then I'm going to paste the little fencer into my battle. So I'm just going along the timeline sequence to check exactly where which image belongs there. And then I'm going to toggle over to my little fencer sequence, and I'm going to find the correct guy. So there he is. I'm going to copy him, and I'm going to paste him on the layer on top of my cat. Let's see, let's find the correct guy. There we go. Selecting him, edit copy, and edit paste. And now I have to place him in the right position, which means I have to look at what position he was in the earlier frame. And I can now then position him in the correct place. Once I have him placed correctly, I'm going to actually merge the fencer and the cat onto the same layer just to minimize confusion. If you hit File, Export, Render Video at this point, your video will look something like this. The movements are a little bit jerky. What I prefer to do is make sure that I show each frame on the timeline twice before exporting the video. So you just take each frame and duplicate it. For some reason, when you put each frame into an animation twice, the entire movement sequence is a lot smoother and you get something a little more sophisticated looking. As you can see, the fencer and the cat are moving a lot more smoothly in this version. This is Mrs. Wintenberg, the helpful art teacher. Happy animating and happy rotoscoping.